Beautiful. All right. Last and absolutely not least, the sunshiny bow that we're gonna kind of tie up the whole package with. Coming to us from the East Coast, where it is 8 p.m. Even more grateful. Heather, I'll give like a pretty brief introduction and feel free to fill in or correct any pieces. So. Heather Campbell has a BA in political science and government from, oh, I didn't write down. Let's see if I can do it memory. University of Wisconsin. Is that right?
Go Badgers.
Excellent. University of Wisconsin. We will try to not judge her for it. She has an MBA and full merit scholarship at NYU Stern School of Business. If you look at her professional track record on LinkedIn, you'll find that she began her career as well, maybe not began, but vice president of media networks and brand integration slash synergy at ESPN, and then moved on to become vice president of cross-company content integration, one of the only people who can say their job is an alchemist at Odyssey. She is CEO and co-founder of Ready, Set, Recover, which is a health platform that helps guide folks through the surgical process. So pre-surgery, peri-surgery, and recovery, post-hab, rehab, prehab to rehab, we could say. And she's also an author. And of these many, many hats, it is that last one that she's going to share with us today. So she is author of the book Good is Amazing, Stop Overthinking and Celebrate Being Enough, which was released 3 months-ish ago. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what she's going to share with us today. Heather, so grateful. Champion of Nourished, friend, just someone I hold so dear to my heart. I'm so, so grateful for you being here.
I feel so lucky to be speaking with all of you right now. These have been some incredible presentations. We've gotten to listen to and really to think with incredible presenters like you. I mean, you kicked this all off with talking about really the breadth of binge eating disorder, which I hadn't really thought through. You challenged us to recognize many of our things like our own weight bias that can be a part of this. And you also really ignited our muscles about storytelling and entertaining, and made me want to go see the Trolls movie, which so thank you.
Yeah.
I've also in this time been I feel validated by a lot of what I've heard. Wendy Oliver discussed the how much lived experience really needs to be included. Um, I actually Corey had wanted us on camera, and I thought I might be distracting. I felt myself rocking back and forth as you two were talking about really insanity, and all of the things. And in Heather Zwicky's presentation, not only was there a lot of how-to in terms of research, but I was also, again, really excited by the validation she shared around the inclusion of purpose within life. And that's what I'd like to start with and touch on a little bit. So you just very kindly made a nice introduction. I'm the founder and CEO of a company that supports people pre and post surgery. I'm the author of, I never know which way to go in the author of
Oh, yep.
It was amazing.
Yes,
There we
yep,
go.
that way. There you go.
I've
Perfect.
got to
Yep.
learn how to point to the book. Um, Stop Overstriving and Celebrate Being Enough. And that is very much in alignment with so much of what I've heard here at the NourishED Research Summit. And as you said, I've also been in charge of synergy and alchemy. A lot of weird, wonderful titles. Every year I go and speak to a JD MBA class at Stern that I actually took when I was there. Um, in it, actually, it's very funny. One of the lectures, the reason I go is one of the lectures is the professor talks about how if a company is merging or acquiring, and they say it's because of synergy, it's basically bullshit. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why. They just want to. So he does this whole lecture. I graduate and I send him my business card, Heather Campbell, manager of Synergy, which he found hysterical. And so now I go and I talk, and I'm actually the lecturer. And one of the questions I get every year is, what's the common thread? Was it something I studied? Was there a track in school? I make the joke, yeah, aren't you all in the synergy or alchemy track? Oh, you're in finance or marketing? No. Um, so no, there's not a class that I took, but there is a common thread that runs through all of these things. The reasons I've either gravitated towards these jobs or I've created these roles is that they have empowered me to live into my purpose in life. I feel incredibly lucky to know why I'm here, what I'm meant to do. I am here to make people feel seen, heard, and celebrated. That is at my core. That is what I do. So I want to start this presentation by doing that. The NourishED Research Summit has been an incredibly special event, and I'm excited that I was asked to be here as part of it. And part of that is honoring some very special people. And I know this is a little bit awkward because we aren't in person, and some of you are watching this on video. But no matter how you are consuming this right now, I would like to ask that you give me your full attention and you bring your incredible energy to honor these people by giving them a round of applause. Even if you're on mute, it's okay. Round of applause, just like we did with dancing. We were dancing a little bit. You didn't see it. Actual applause. I can't hear you, but thank you. I will take applause as a reaction. Thank you. Why are we doing this? Who are we doing these applause for? In case you're not sure, it's you. It's all of you. Whether you were a listener, a speaker, a producer of this, you are included in our thank you claps. We are clapping for you right now because you are a person the world depends on, and you're showing up. I know that because you've shown up for this. You are adding energy into the collective every day. You are a main character of so many incredibly important narratives. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit by reading a little bit from the book. Let's talk more about you. Who are you? Even if we haven't met, I think I know a bit about you. You're smarter than you may think. You're kind in your heart, even though you blow up every once in a while. More often than you'd like, you wonder why things feel heavier now. You thought at this point life would be a little easier, but it doesn't feel that way. Guess what? You're human. This adulting thing is harder than social media makes it look, and I'm guessing it will feel helpful to be reminded that everything in life does not go linearly upward. There are ups and downs and all over the place. I want to help you realize some of the ups when they are happening and deal with the downs in a way to support yourself. You may need some convincing that this whole good is amazing thing is a right goal for you. I get it. There's a lot of hype out of all the benefits of overachieving. We've been conditioned to strive towards greatness, but it's creating an epidemic of anxiety and depression because we feel we're failing. I'm proposing we reframe our goals and our successes because validating our achievements has gotten so out of whack. Let's not get sucked into a painful and stressed out reality of our own making. Instead, I'm inviting you to come out on an adventure with me where we focus on getting to good in our lives, how to achieve it every day. Here's the exciting thing about this book. While the stories in here are mine and others, you are actually the main character. Ta-da! Haven't you always wanted to be a main character? Well, here you go. So congratulations to all of you on being the main character. And that should be celebrated. Now, most of the people, if not all, of you are who are here today are researchers. Um, so that's really incredible. I'm not an actual researcher, but so I'm going to touch on someone else's research. Um, and also within the research community, it seems to be a little bit of a researchers club. There seems to be a lot of known people in this world. So I bet some of you, if not all of you, are familiar with the work of BJ Fogg. For those of you who don't know him, BJ is a behavioral scientist at Stanford. He studies positive habit forming. He explains in his book, Tiny Habits, the importance of celebrations. He's shown, and again, most of you know this, how positive emotions generated by celebrations help wire the new behavior into our brains, making it automatic. The more automatic, the stronger the habit. So our taking a moment to recognize that you've been part of something here at the NourishED Research Summit, that you've literally been nourishing your mind so you can nourish others, that deserves a moment of celebration. And in taking that moment, you're setting yourself up to continue to take these types of actions. So thank you for taking the moment to celebrate. You've not only started that dopamine train in your body for this moment, but you're building support for the habit and showing up and learning in other moments as well. Okay, so back to us being the main characters of our lives. Kind of an aside, as I've watched the presentations and I've got to see some of you off camera for joining in and or presenting, I have to admit, I couldn't help but wonder who would be the magnificent actors who would play you in the movies of our lives. Now, Corey Richards is probably a little unique. He's basically playing himself in the movie, but for the rest of us, who would it be? Would it be Scarlett Johansson? Would it be Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Johnny Depp? Who would play you in the story of your life? I'm going to admit that when I was thinking about this, I did go on, and I was preparing for this, I did go on to the internet, down the internet rabbit hole, and I took a quiz. And after asking way too many questions, or answering way too many questions, and giving way too much information to the internet, I was told that the actor who would play me was, drum roll please, Zendaya. Now, if any of you know her, she is gorgeous and cool and 28. So I just want to say, obviously, the internet is 100% right all the time. So in addition, though, to thinking about who might play you in the movie of your life, I also, or in my life, I also started thinking about what the storylines would hold in our future. And when I say I'm thinking about the storylines, like most people, I started worrying about them because that's one of the things that kind of stinks about being the main character. Often there's a plot twist that makes you feel like you're not at all in control of the storyline. I am completely confident that every person who is listening to this knows that feeling of having the world happen to them, how things can feel completely out of control. I've certainly felt that way. Again, Brenna mentioned one of the things that I've done is created a company, Ready, Set, Recover. I created that company because I was feeling incredibly nervous that things were out of my control when I was told I had to have surgery. When I looked for a program to help me, there wasn't one. So I created a framework of easy actions that I could take. And one of the big pieces of that was the writing the story of my surgery. Now, Ian Rubin just has talked about the importance of narrative, gave us such a beautiful, incredible overview, so many things to think about. I loved the hitting on how the psychosocial, spiritual, emotional, cultural realities affect our stories. For surgery patients, that's 100% true as well. And these realities often inflect into our narratives, and they make us create narratives that are hurting us versus helping us. Again, you guys know the science behind this. It's creating that cortisol versus that dopamine. And when I was having surgery and I knew I had to tell people, I wanted dopamine. I wanted to say thank you, no to cortisol. So when I had to tell people I was having surgery, which you do when you're having surgery over and over again, I said the story in the exact same way. I explained, I went to see a surgeon. He said he had good news and great news. Good news was the reason he came was actually fine. But the great news was there was actually something really wrong with another bone. And normally it would be really bad, but because I was there, he could fix it with surgery. That's what I said over and over. Good news, great news, good news, great news. That's what I heard. I was in control of my narrative. Now, Brenna, I think you mentioned that your mom was on at one point. Sometimes while we are in control of our narratives, some people don't want that narrative that we've given them and they want more. My mom absolutely was in that realm. When I shared with her good news, great news, she wanted more. She wanted the science behind it. She wanted the name of what was going on. And lovingly, when she asked what was going on, I said, it's a conundrum. The doctors don't know why it's happening. Now, there actually was a name. Again, you guys are scientists. You probably would recognize the name. I've even forgotten it. I don't even remember what it was. It was a conundrum. But my mother persisted. No, Heather Ann, what's the name of the disease? And I took a breath and I told her that I know that she loves me and she wanted to help me. But her looking up the name of what was going on and worrying about it or sharing more information about it wouldn't be helpful. We are all the main characters in our lives, and we get to dictate a lot more of the narrative around the plot twists that happen than we sometimes take control of. Every person here knows that we don't have the ability to control everything. That's just life. But the dialogue that we create around the twists, that's ours to write. I loved when Ian just talked also about we have to let other people write their dialogue too. Sometimes being quiet and allowing them to fill in the blanks is the important piece to the puzzle. Now, of course, not every unexpected plot twist that you didn't see coming is a bad one. Hopefully, we all know and believe that too. So I would like to share one of the top 10 moments of my life with you right now. It's something I never saw coming. And again, it's from the book. When I was a student at Madison, I managed the house at the Union Theater, and Dr. Maya Angelou came to speak one night as part of our Distinguished Speakers series. I remember the crowd and myself physically responding to Dr. Angelou's every word, nodding our heads to the rhythm of her speech. Afterward, there was a private reception for her at the Union's Great Hall overlooking Lake Mendota. I watched deans, professors, and students circle Dr. Angelou, waiting for an opening to jump in and get even a moment of her attention. She was a tall woman, I think at least 6 feet. But it wasn't her height that made her seem like a giant. It was her energy. She was electric. I was never able to cajole my way into the inner circle, so I finally left and meandered down to the Union's Rathskeller. The Rat, as it was known, is the perfect college hangout for eating and drinking and music and friends. When I finally was ready to call it a night, I keyed myself in backstage at the theater to pick up my backpack and jacket that I'd left in the green room. The combination of the night's earlier inspiration, fun with friends, and the backstage acoustics being as amazing as the front of the house filled me with confidence. And as I walked down the hallway, I was belting out Sea of Love at the top of my lungs. I turned the corner to enter the green room, ready to end my solo performance with an energetic crescendo, and instead, I froze like a deer in headlights. There stood my boss from the theater, the dean of the University of Wisconsin, and Dr. Maya Angelou. I stuttered out an apology, and I think I may have actually curtsied while averting my eyes and searching for my stuff so I could run. Maya slowly shook her head back and forth, and with a growing smile, notice the use of the familiar first name now? That's the feeling she evoked in me. Even though just a second earlier I was terrified, she created the kind of intimacy you wanted to be engulfed in. Then she furrowed her brow and said, nope, come on, let's finish it. Then she started singing, "Come with me, my love." And I joined in and sang with a full heart. This is one of the top 10 moments of my life. We had simply sung a song together, but during our duet, Maya Angelou made me feel like I could do anything. I may have been levitating. I was definitely pulsating and shining. It was incredible, life-changing. Here I am, 30 plus years later, still reliving it. And to be clear, afterwards, after that moment had happened, nothing life-changing happened. This was before social media, didn't go viral. I didn't get a ton of likes, didn't make me feel validated by friends, family, and strangers. They had no idea this had happened. Maya did not ask me to go on tour with her. My boss did not give me a raise. The dean did not say, you know what? You should sing with every visiting speaker. Nothing that the world would define as earth-shattering or life-changing happened. But it is still one of the top 10 moments of my life. I recognize how it fed my soul. And I am hoping that you being at this conference is feeding your soul too. That you are taking deep breaths as you are listening and thinking about all of the important things we are learning and letting that pulsate through your body. That you are listening to the applause from me and your fellow attendees and letting them enter your heart. And that you are thinking of words that you will use to tell your stories in ways that help you rather than hurt you when you tell the stories of today and tomorrow. Now, here's one of the challenges of a wonderful event like this. We come to summits and to conferences looking for insights and inspiration, and often, just like today and yesterday and Friday, we get them. I know I've been incredibly inspired over the past few days. It's like we're in this wonderful kumbaya bubble, and we're here, and we're inspired and excited. It's all wonderful. I've actually joked that if I ever ran a conference, I'd actually lie to the attendees. Lie, totally lie. I'd say the event was going to go longer than it really was, and then I'd end it early and say to everyone, take this time right now to start all of the follow-up and reflecting that you've promised yourself that you were going to do as soon as you get back. Because we all know that as soon as we leave this event and the bubble is broken, we are going to be consumed by the outside world. That it is going to come onto us and take over. Even though we are the main characters, we have to fight to hold on to that. Now, if this was a live event, that extra time would also include really good coffee, not the crappy coffee you had the whole time at the conference, and chair massages. That is my goal. If I ever run an event, I hope you all come because there will be great coffee and chair massages. So I'm sorry we are not together now and I can't offer you either of those things, maybe next time. But I am going to ask you to help yourself and help me by preparing before the bubble is broken. So before we end right now, I'm going to ask you to either grab a piece of paper and a pen, or if you've got your computer open, just open it up to a blank page. And I'm going to ask that you take a deep breath and just center yourself. And then, as the main character of your life, you write down your own dialogue. Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. I joined the NourishED Research Summit hoping to, and just fill in the blank. I didn't anticipate everything I'd learn here, and I was surprised by. I don't want to lose this feeling of support and inspiration in this moment. So moving forward, one thing I am going to do next week is make that one specific. Something you can actually give yourself a gold star for when it happens, something that's going to build momentum. And when I do that one thing, I will celebrate by. All right, I'm going to read them again one more time. I joined the NourishED Research Summit hoping to. I didn't anticipate everything I'd learned here and was surprised by. I don't want to lose this feeling of support and inspiration in this moment. So moving forward, one thing I'm going to do next week is, and when I do that one thing, I will celebrate by. Excellent job, main characters. It has been such a pleasure being a part of this wonderful event. And I want to thank you, Brenna, for including me, and truly say congratulations again to everyone for being a part of something so important, because as you've been feeding yourself, you are empowering others to be nourished as well.
Thank you so much, Heather. So beautiful. Alex is texting me just a whole bunch of heart emojis from our Facebook
Thank you.
Live followers too. Yeah,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you. Boy, I guess, yeah, what a beautiful ending. Thank you so much.
You're
If
welcome.
if
I
folks,
will,
go
I
ahead. Yeah.
will share. I think I will share. Maybe I won't share. Not because I don't want to, but because I can't figure out Zoom. I'll share how people can get a hold of me.
Yeah. Excellent.
Um, Here we go.
Ooh, we've also got a question. Are you open to questions,
Oh,
Heather?
absolutely.
Um, Andy says, where do you think your book and message falls with where do you think your book and message falls with the greater self-help and actualization movement, and where you drew inspiration from and what makes you unique?
So it's funny, in trying to label, my joke is I would label it however you would like it to be so that you will read it. Um, it is definitely, it's memoir self-help. The entire book is my stories, although I go on and say, in the book, they're my stories, but it's not about me, it's about you. It's about how you can use these stories. Um, it's entertainment. I am planning on doing an audio version next year and reading it, because anyone who's ever talked to me or who knows me, one of the first things they say is it's as if I'm talking with you, which is kind of the point. My goal is that when you are reading this book, you feel like I'm sitting across the table from you, and that we are just talking. The inspiration, my gosh, people. I mean, these stories aren't my stories alone. There are so many people in these stories. Um, and really what happened was I've told these stories a lot. And at one point people, you should write a book, you should write a book, you should write a book. Uh, for years, I told strangers only, not people that I knew, that I was writing a book. And I'd drop it, like, "Oh, I'm writing a book." And, "Oh my gosh, really?" And I'd say, "Yes." And they'd say, "What's it about?" And I'd say the title, and I'd see their bodies change. I'd see their shoulders fall away from their ears, and and then, "Oh my gosh, yes. Good, good. Like, why? Yeah. I want good." I've um and finally I had told someone I knew, and she is a wonderful nudge. And when we would have the coffees and I would say a story, she'd say, "Oh, that's a great story. Is that in the book? Is that a chapter? Write the book. Why haven't you written the book?" Um, so really the inspiration is because, again, seen, heard, and celebrated. I want people to take these stories and recognize what they need. And it's been interesting. I've been speaking on a lot of podcasts, which I really love doing. If anyone out there would knows a podcast that you think I'm in alignment with or has one, I'd love to come on. Um, one week I was interviewed for two different podcasts, the University of Chicago Booth MBA program and a astrologer mystic. So Friday, Chicago Booth, or Monday, Chicago Booth, Friday, mystic. They asked the same questions, different language. I gave the same answers. So that's a part of the motivation too. It is so universal. It is so, I just had someone who's I think he's 30 years old, 30-year-old man buy the book from me and then said his mom stole it from him. I've had moms say they bought it for their daughter, but then they stole it from their daughter. It's resonating with people. People are looking for that validation of, wait, I want good. Like, and again, it's not good is enough. It's not mediocre. It's not I'm settling. It's actually incredible. Like, if you can put a roof over your head, good food in your belly, and health insurance, that's fabulous. And again, have that connection and enjoy, so that's why it's happening.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Excellent. And I'll just put really quickly heathercampbell.com, Heather and Campbell at gmail.com. Cool. So
Yep.
it was in the chat. And I think Alex was in the Facebook event too. Alex also says, I think the world of social media neighbor comparisons, this is so needed for everyone's mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been doing a lot more. So I've never done social media. I've actively avoided it. And for the book, I'm doing it. And that's been hard for me. I actually thought of, can I brand all of my social media starting with puke or pride? Because I've decided for me, um, getting these messages into the heads and hearts of people are so important that I need to get the book into their hands.
Yeah.
So I am doing that, but I'm doing it real. Like I'm not fully made up. I have mistakes. And I'm doing it in a way that serves me. I was on vacation-ish last week, and I hadn't gotten things ready to post, and I didn't because I wanted to be on vacation. I wanted to be present with my oldest daughter and my mother. Um, so it's important. It is a dance. It is a dance.
Beautiful. Alex is putting in the comments, I love not using it. I only do it for very special reasons, and you're amazing and so appreciated
Oh,
with
thank you.
numerous emojis in there. I think you could see the comments as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Boy, Heather, thank you so much. What a beautiful way to close this event. I'm just so grateful for you joining us. And I know it's late.
You've done an amazing job. I hope you hear the applause. The applause are for everyone, but you have you have brought people together again, asking us to listen, learn, and think with each other. And that is not an easy thing to do with people who have things to say, and not an easy thing to do online. You've done an incredible job.
Beautiful. Thank you. Received. Beautiful. Well, I think that's a really good note to end on. Boy, thanks so much, everyone who is here with us on Zoom and on Facebook, and folks who are not here right now in this moment, but have been. Just yeah, I'm so grateful for the way that everyone has shown up. And I will add, Heather, for what it's worth, what I wrote down that I didn't anticipate was the way that everyone would show up.
Mm,
And so I'm going to hold on to that by giving it to someone else. So I'm really grateful for that activity. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think with that we'll close. Thanks so much everyone for joining. So much appreciation, and yeah, hope everyone has a good weekend and off to a good Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.